Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Gagged podcast. This is your host, Bella Joie.
And I'm Leah Hayes.
In today's episode, we are going to be talking about horror stories from, hookups, Tinder, Grindr.
We're doing like
Hinge.
the social dating app chronicles.
And then also some in-person meetings.
Yeah.
Just to spice it up, because honestly, some of my worst ones are from people I've met in person.
For real.
Of course, there's ones that, just craziness that happens from online dating and online hookup stories.
And
but
everyone can relate to these.
most people, yes.
Fucking weirdos that you meet.
Fucking weirdos.
Weirdos.
I
And
think-
and it's so fun just retelling them for all your friends. And you're like, oh my God, you will not believe what happened last night.
No, I literally just told you one, you and Victoria and Eris in bed the other night when we were watching Spring Breakers, and you guys were gagged
Wait, what one was that?
with the gun.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We're bringing the guns back. We're bringing the guns blazing. Okay, take us back. Take us back.
No.
Oh, wait. And where
I
was this?
think we should start as what has happened to you in the past 24 hours.
Oh,
because
my
we
God.
had this concept planned before I came to Vegas. We were going to do this video. And last night, Leah had a run-in with a cuckoo bonkers wackadoo city man that we
Crazy.
met in the Aria Hotel in Joie nightclub. So take us back to about
Take us back.
12 hours ago.
Okay. It was literally 12 hours ago.
Yeah.
So
It's
we-
crazy.
We were all having fun at Joie, which, if you know, it's the only place that's bumping on a Monday. So we went there because Cinco de Mayo, we wanted to, have a little fun, dance. So this guy, we're all leaving to go get our Uber. And this guy comes up to me as we're going up the escalator. So I called him escalator guy. And he was like, hey, can I get your number? And I was like, sure. So I gave him my number as we're going up the escalator. And then we circle back. He said he lost it and needed it again. So 5 minutes later he found us and asked again. And I was like, okay. Didn't think anything of it. But I thought he was kind of cute. He had really nice eyes. He had blue eyes, really dark hair, long, thick eyelashes, cutesy. He was Italian, turns out. Anyway, found out a lot about this man. So we're in the Uber home, and he texts me, and he's like, let me pull up the text actually, because I want to know. Wait,
We should have known.
I had him saved as. Oh no, I didn't even have him saved. Okay, so he texts me at 2:38 a.m. Hey, it's Josh.
Don't say his real name.
It's such a generic name.
Okay.
Let me give you and all your friends a blowjob, please. I replied, is this escalator guy? And he said, yes, where are you? And I said where I lived. What about you? And he said,
She's a hard.
he said, can I come to you?
Sorry,
Or
okay.
come to me tomorrow during the day with your friends? I said, yes, you can come to us. Can you send a pic? Do you bottom? He said, I will suck all your dicks. What's the addy? Give him the addy. And then he said, I'll skip that part. And he said, okay, how many are you? So what if I said 50? Would he still be down to suck everyone? Crazy. I think because he saw we were in a group of there was 4 of us as we were leaving. So maybe he thought there was 4, but still crazy to volunteer to suck off 4
Also,
people.
now knowing what happens later, it's insane that he wanted to interact with everyone.
Thirsty.
Well, clearly so were you.
Yeah, always. I'm off the moans, babes. Okay, how many are you? I want to be in the middle and give you all nice head. And as he's sending these texts, I'm passing my phone around to you. I'm giving it to Victoria.
We're all,
We're
responding.
in the Uber, I'm showing, and you guys are responding for me. It's
And, it's all 3 of us in one combo.
it's a collab at this point.
Yeah.
And then so I said, there's 3 of us. He said, perfect. Okay. You want me to do this? You want me to come now, or can we do this tomorrow during the day? I said, now or never. We have stuff to do tomorrow. He said, okay, I'm coming. There's no cameras though, right? And I said, we kind of want to film, but only if you're comfortable. Because, like, why not? That's,
Yeah.
like,
No,
cute and
of
hot.
course.
But he was so not into the idea. And he said, no, please, no filming. If there's hiding cameras, then forget it. Hiding. So, like, we're going to, like, secretly film him. I said, if you don't want to film anything, then I'm down. But my friends aren't. So it would just be me.
Yeah.
So immediately we're going from 3 to 1. And then he said, okay, if it's just you, I'm fine with that too. I was like, okay, perfect. And then he said, there's no hidden cameras though, right? Specifying this again, recurring theme. I was like, no, I swear. No point in hidden cameras, babe. Can't post it anywhere. He said, okay, I'm coming. So he comes over.
So actually, me and Victoria are laying in your bed with you.
Yeah, we are all having like post-club kiki in my bed.
Yes. We're talking, and then all of a sudden he just like gets there, and so me and Victoria go to like scurry out of your room, and we just hear you say, why is he walking into my house? I'm like, oh my god, this man's just walking in our house. This is weird.
Because my front door has like one of those things that like wherever you open in the house, like the PA system or whatever is like front door open.
Yeah.
So that sound came on. So I was like, did he just walk into my house? You guys are like peeing in my bathroom, like in my ensuite, in my room. So I was like, oh my God. So they were like, you and Victoria were like trapped in my bedroom. I was like, I have to go and like get this guy.
Yeah.
Turns out he didn't actually walk in. He just like knocked on the door, and like my other roommate was like letting our dog out or something at 4 a.m. I don't know why. Anyway, so like I answered the door naked, and I was just like, hi. And he was like, hey. So we walk up to my room. You guys scurried out of my room to like the guest bedroom with the door still open. So he sees you guys in the other room. He's like, oh, are those your friends? And I was like, yeah.
Victoria's like in a bonnet.
Yeah. No, in about it. And then so immediately we got down to business. We started like making out. It was hot. He was like very like, you know, when a guy's like aggressively like making out with you, you can just like feel his like primal urges.
Yeah.
So it was like that. He immediately like goes to start sucking me. And I was into it. It was hot just because of like how like
Spontaneous.
yeah, spontaneous and thirsty he was. And anyway, so then he was like sucking me off for like a good like 15 minutes. And then I was like, I want to like eat your ass. So he's like, okay. So he's like sucking me off while he's like sitting on my face because I love to eat ass. So I'm like sucking him. Also, he had the biggest skin tag I've ever
Ew,
seen.
stop talking about it. Stop. I'm not listening to this part of the story.
Besides the point. So then I'm literally just like licking his ass, and then he literally came hands free, like on top of me.
Hot.
And hot. And I was like, oh, like so hot. I love when you can like make a guy do that because you just feel like so sexy that they can't help themselves. Anyway, so then he's like, let's go shower because I have a shower like in my ensuite. And I was like, okay. So we go rinse off, come back to bed, and he's just lying there, and we're looking at each other like side by side. And he was like, he's just like, do people ever regret like hooking up with you? And I was like, I hope not. Like, I don't know. And he was like, oh, okay. It's just this was like the first time I've ever like sucked a dick. And I was like, oh, I had no idea because he was like so into it.
No,
you
and
know
like
what
the
I mean?
way that he was presenting it was as if he's
was
done this a lot.
He wanted to suck off so many friends at once. So silly me thinking he had like some sort of experience. He had none. And I was like, okay, like I just like took his like dick virginity, I guess. And then, so we're like talking a bit more. And then we get back to it because I didn't come because he came so quickly and then wanted to rinse off. So then we go at it again. He's sucking my dick. I'm eating his ass. He comes again, hands-free within like 5 minutes. And then I was like, okay, like back to the shower. Come back to bed. And then he's just lying there like this. Not facing me. Not facing me. And I'm like doing like, you know, like the kind of like post nut like cuddle, like, you know, just like whatever. And I was like, are you okay? He's looking so depressed. And then he was just like, I don't know. I just have like a lot on my mind. And it was like 5 a.m. I was like anything you want to talk about? And he was like, I don't know. I just like, I feel so weird because, like, I've never done this before. And, like, I don't know, like, I shouldn't have come here. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, thanks. I'm gonna piss myself. And I'm like realizing I'm not gonna nut at this point. And then he's just like, I'm just sad. And I was like, why are you sad? And he's like, I'm just so ugly. And this guy, like, he was cute. He was cute. He wasn't obviously like fashion model Superman. But, like, he was cute.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like, honestly, I think you're cute. Like, I really like your eyes. Like, your eyes are gorgeous. And he's like, I feel like people just say that because the rest of my face is ugly. And I was like, well, like, people tend to compliment what they like. Like, what am I going to say? Like, you have such a nice chin. Like, that's weird. Speaking of, I was like, what part of you do you think is ugly? Like, I like your eyes. Like, what do you think is ugly? And he was like, I just hate my jawline. Like, you can't see it at all. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah, honestly, I just really want plastic surgery.
Honestly, we should support men getting filler. Men
No,
getting filler 2025.
I actually told him that. I was like, you could, like, why don't you just get filler and, like, define it more? And then, like, if you like it so much, like, you can get, like, a chin and jaw implant, like, down the road. And he was like, can they do that? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh. What was the name of your surgeon? And I was like, shout out Dr. Jumalee, because people, like, want it, even, like, boys. And so I told him, and he was like, okay, well, that's what I need.
It's giving egg.
Yeah. No, so I thought egg, because I'm like, why? Do you care where I went?
No, totally.
But I was like, what don't you like about it? And he was like, oh, it's just, like, not defined enough. I want it to look more masculine. So then I was like, oh, okay. So, like, maybe he's just has, like, really low self-esteem or something.
Right.
And then he was like, oh, and I also hate my nose. And I was like, oh, like, what do you hate about it? And then he was like, oh, I just think it's, like, too big and, like, crooked or something. And then I was like, oh,
These
okay.
are, like, really kind of, like, atypical insecurities for
A little bit.
for, like, a cis straight male.
Also, for, like, after, like, the bar at, like, 5 a.m, like, hearing about that is just, like, a lot.
It's also, like, the first... It's just, like, giving... I don't know what it's giving, but it's not giving what a 5 a.m. hookup
It was
should
just
be giving.
weird, and, like, why am I, like, coaching you? Like, I just met you. And then he was like... I was like, honestly, I like your nose. Like, I think it's, like strong and, like, masculine. He had, like, a very, like, Italian kind of nose.
Giving very me before nose job.
Yeah. It was giving Miles Teller. Anyway, so then he was like, yeah, I just want that done. I was like, if that makes you happy, like, do it. And he was like, yeah. And then he's, like, still looking sad. And then he's like, do you care if I go? And I was like, sure. Because, like, at this point, I'm like, you're, like, a Debbie Downer, like, depresso boots right now. Like, I don't care. And he was like, are you going to be upset? And I was like, well, I wanted to come. But, like, clearly only one of us is coming. And you came twice. You came enough for both of us, babes. So you can leave. And he's like, it's 9 minutes away. And I was like, okay, like, do you want to just, like, lie here until, like, it comes? And he was like, okay. And then he's, like, looking all sad still. And I was like, so, like, what are you going to do when you leave? Like, what are you doing? And he was like, honestly, I think I'm going to fucking kill myself. And I was like, oh,
I'm so sorry. It's not funny.
It's not funny.
It is, like, just
but
so
it's giving,
bizarre.
Like, the worst post-nut clarity you could ever get in your entire life.
No, it's giving, like...
And it's like, why would you tell that to me?
Also,
why would
like,
you tell that to anyone you just met?
Like, and not to be a bitch to you, but, like, having intercourse with you made him want to kill himself.
I know. Like, that makes me feel like shit. And then I was like, but in the back of my mind, I was also like, I made you come twice in, like, 2 seconds. So, and I told him that. I'm like, well, clearly you enjoyed yourself. So, like, whatever this post-nut clarity is, like, I don't know if you need sleep, if you need water, if you need, like, an Advil, but, like, you're just bringing down the whole mood right now. And, like, I felt bad because, like,
no, of course.
And so all I could say was, like, aw, like, don't do that. Because, like, I don't know what to say.
Like, you don't know him.
I don't even know his name. Oh, it was Josh. But, yeah, so that was my night. He left, and he's like, do I have to, like, see myself out? And I was like, yeah. Because I was, like, asleep in bed. I was like, bye. And so I don't think we'll be seeing him, like, ever again.
Well, because
next time we see him, he's, like, chiseled and has, like, everything done, and he's just, like, super buff and, like,
no, we're just not going to see him again because you're not going to hook up with him, but, like, he will be alive and healthy.
Yeah.
We're manifesting good things for him.
We're
but
praying
that
for
is-
you, Josh.
That is one of the worst hookup stories I have ever heard.
It was so bad. Like,
No,
don't
no,
vocalize that. Don't vocalize your post-nut depression clarity onto the person you're with, because, like, it kind of makes them feel bad. You know what I mean?
No, and it was
If you
like,
regret it, keep it to yourself.
no, the debrief in bed this morning was crazy.
No,
The
I
way
had them
that-
cackling. I had you and Victoria cackling in my bed.
No, and she's like on mute right now, and she was cackling. Like, no, it was really, that was really, really insane.
So insane.
I'm
still, like, recovering.
I mean, we've
mentally.
all had post-nut clarity, but like he's just a very insecure person, which is a shame.
Shame.
You know that he can't live his true self.
Yeah, which is sad because, like, he's, like, a cute guy. Like,
Don't kill yourself.
don't get help.
Got help.
Get filler.
And that might help.
Mm-hmm.
That was just, I don't even know how to follow that up.
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, going from my trauma, let's jump into yours. Give me, let's, just to make it easier, try to think of, like, chronologically, like, the first kind of, like, crazy Grindr or Tinder or Hinge.
Oh my God, the first
Story.
one?
Not the very first, but, like, the first one that sticks out to you in, like, a funny or bad way.
I mean, I obviously have like some crazy ones, funny or bad way. There's a couple that like stick out in my head. I mean, obviously there's like the gun one. Like we were watching, and this one isn't in chronological, but it was just something we had mentioned. I guess me and Victoria are just gun girlies.
Gun
I
girlies.
This isn't illegal, I don't think. If this is illegal, we have to cut this out. No, so I was a Grindr story. And it was an ex-boyfriend of mine. And it was when I like first moved to Tampa, and he was hitting me up, whatever. I decided to go drive 35 minutes out to go have sex with him. That's how you know that you're like a little desperate, you know? And I get out there and I told him like we weren't gonna have sex. I don't know. I was just like playing that hard to get where I'm like, what if I get there and I don't want to? So like I just was like, whatever. And I get there and he's actually like really hot and the vibes are good and we're just like messing around, whatever. And he was just like a little crazy pants cuckoo, and so was I, and the vibes were just good. And then I thought he was gonna want to top me, and then I got there and he actually wanted to bottom. And I don't know how the bridge, I think we were drinking too. I don't know how the bridge of us starting intercourse to a gun getting involved, like how that bridged the gap. And I think it was because he was in the military and we were talking about like some of his experiences or whatever. And then I, being like the psychotic bitch that I am, I have a tendency to do this with like new men. I always like do something really outlandish to like grab their attention. Like I've done all sorts of crazy
you
things
try
on
to
like a
stick
first
out in
date.
their mind,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course.
You're like, he's gonna remember me.
No, literally. And then he mentioned something about being like a gun guy, of course. And I said, well, can I like fuck you while I hold a gun to your head?
Okay, and were you guys sober or like how did that?
Oh, no, we were sober.
Okay, cute. Okay.
Yeah, it's over. And then he was like, yeah. And so obviously when someone's equally as psychotic as you start like feeding off of each other's like psychoticness. And I'm like, that's so hot. And he's like, no, that's so hot that you're that insane. And I'm like, no, I love it. And so then he like gets his like Glock out and like literally I start fucking him missionary while I hold a gun to his head. And I literally like made him come while I was holding a gun to his head, like fucking him. And then after that, we just kind of like stuck together and started dating. And we dated like for like a year.
And did that happen like again? The
No,
gun?
that was the first.
It was a one and done.
It was a one and done. I just had to like hook him.
Have you since?
No.
Oh.
It was just like a one and done craziness. Like it was just like
Yeah.
I said it to be like promiscuous and sexy and mysterious. And then when he said yes, I was like, well, now I'm not going to back out.
No,
now I'm going to do it.
And it's weird because actually like so many people are into that. Like I think the idea of that is hot. And I've heard so many people who are like,
I just can't believe I did it because it's so out of like my character.
I mean, it's very like Dom. Like, wait, were you saying like Spring Breaker type shit? Like,
No, that's why when we were watching Spring Breakers and they were holding the gun in his mouth, I said, oh my God, did I ever tell you guys about that time that I held the gun to my ex-boyfriend's head and fucked
were you
him?
like, get on your knees, motherfucker?
Like, holding it up. I was like, come right now, come right now.
You don't come. Oh my God.
I think
No,
I
crazy.
don't. I think he had the safety on. I don't know.
Oh
I
my
really
God.
don't know.
This is
He
so
handed
bad.
it to me. So that was like that was probably like my most psychotic. Like it wasn't bad. Like it's just wild that occurred.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
No, like I was saying, it's like so many people actually like that. Like I think the idea of that is hot. And then like I know a lot of people have that kink where it's like with a gun or like with like a knife. Or whatever. So many people are into that, which is crazy. But like
Like
get
I
it
could
'cause
never
it's
be
like,
the one.
It's like yeah. I don't know.
like-
Maybe it's like the fear mixed with everything.
No, I think it's like the fear
'Cause
of,
it's like
like,
when a
you
dick
might
is like
die.
so big and you're like, that's gonna hurt. But it's like kind of
Yeah.
sexy.
No, so that one was like pretty insane. But that one was the kind of like a good, just erotic, insane one.
Yeah.
And then he was hooked because he's like, oh my God, no one will ever do this again. And I did it.
So if anyone can relate, comment down below.
I'm
Of your favorite gun story.
This is like the last podcast film because
Yeah,
I get
we have to
arrested.
stop speaking about guns. Okay, well, cute.
Yeah. No, and obviously there's like messy ones too.
Oh, you want to get into the messy ones? I feel like both of us have like a lot of experience with.
And honestly,
unfortunately.
the crazy part is it's usually not us being messy. It's always the men that want to bottom. They're so dead set on bottoming. They're like, I'm gonna bottom. I love bottom. Blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, oh, have you never heard of a fleet?
It's because, yeah, they don't know how. Unfortunately.
Reddit is a simple search. Google.
Yeah, just Google
Just Google.
how to clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you want to get into that?
I mean, we'll do one messy story each because otherwise this isn't going to turn into a poop cup.
I know. I have like too many poop ones. I'm like trying to think. I'm trying to think of like okay, I know what one. Okay. So I'm going to take you back to, I think this was like 20.
Oh, was this with
21.
your ex-boyfriend?
No.
Oh.
No. Would you rather I do that one?
No.
Okay.
I just think that one is so...
Guys, unfortunately, I have like too many of these stories to tell, but I'll take you back to this one. It was like 2021. For context, I was like freshly like transitioned. Like my hair had just like reached my boobs kind of vibe. Pre-FFS, pre-boob job, pre-everything. And so I'm on, I believe it was Tinder. And I meet this guy, and he was cute. Like, he was like, I think he was like 6'3" or something crazy. So like, so my type, because I'm 5'11", so I like to just feel small. And he was cute, like average build, whatever. That's important to note, by the way. So I Uber over to his house, and he answers the door, and he's wearing like a very baggy sweater, very baggy like sweatpants, like chill vibes. And we're like talking on his couch for like half an hour. And he was like super nervous. He's like, I've never like been with a trans girl, like blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, cool. Like whatever. I could tell he was like so nervous to initiate it. So I was like, should we go like to your room? And he was like, yeah, okay. So then I get on his bed, and we're like making out for a bit, like fully clothed. And then he's like, should I like take off my clothes? And I was like, duh. So then he goes to take off his sweater. He was at least 100 pounds heavier than his photos on Tinder. And I didn't notice because his sweater and his sweatpants were like hiding everything. And like, he was still cute, but I was like, this is like
False advertising.
It's a little bit of catfishing going on here. But I was already like in his bed, and I was like, okay, I don't want to be mean. So like, let's just like do this. Like maybe I can get into it. So then we start making out more, and then he like goes to fuck me. We start like fucking missionary, and he's fucking me for like 5 minutes straight, and it's like okay, but like nothing crazy. But then he doesn't pull out the whole time. Then he goes to pull out, and it's in the dark. And then he just says, uh-oh. And in my mind, I'm like, oh no. What is he about to say? So I like play coy, and I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? And he just says, uh-oh, poopy. And he doesn't say like, oh, like it's a little messy, or like, oh, like there's a little bit of shit, a little bit of poop.
But like, oh, like I've had an instance where someone said it was the nicest thing this guy could have ever said. He goes, "Oh, we made a mess." It was so cute.
That is a cute way to put
That
it.
was so nice to say because it wasn't just it was a joint effort.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, thank you for that."
Yeah.
That made me feel less alone in this moment.
But no, it was very an interesting thing to say, to just say, uh-oh, poopy. Because, like, what are we, like, 6? Like, that was so weird. And then so I'm just, like, lying there, like, what do I do? So then I was like, okay, like, I'm going to go clean out. So then I'm in his bathroom for, like, half an hour, and it is not getting better, like, at all. And for context, I didn't, like, shit the bed. It was just, like, messy. And it wasn't, like, brown like lube messy. It was like a little more.
Yeah.
And but I could just not get clean. And then I came out to like tell him like I'm done. I'm gonna leave. And he was already fully clothed, like on his phone. Like he already gave up, and he's like, yeah, I think we should be done for the night. And I was like, yeah, like probably right. And then so he just like stays in there, and I was like, okay, like I guess I'll Uber home. So then I called an Uber home, and he just stayed in his room, and I like walked myself down his like super long apartment hallway, and I was just like, oh my God. And then I like checked because we went from Tinder to Snapchat. So I checked Snapchat like the next day. He was still there, and I was like, okay, like it wasn't so bad. And then I checked again the day after, and I was deleted. Like he unfriended me, and I was like, oh no. So yeah, that happened. But I think like a year later, he like added me back.
Well, now look at you.
But then I didn't. I never replied to him.
Does that make you feel good?
A little bit. I should have been like, uh-oh, poopy. And then deleted him. But that story just like lives in my mind.
No,
like,
when
forever.
I first heard that was so funny.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. Mine is a bit different. Mine's a bit different.
Ew, what did it say? When we're talking about this.
Leah has a Scott fetish.
You heard it here first.
No, mine actually, this one was a real life encounter.
Okay.
I used to work out at Crunch Fitness, and
Not crunch.
yeah, and this guy would always come up to me, blah blah blah. And at the time, I was dating. At first I was dating the guy that I had the gun to his head. I was seeing him, and this guy would come up to me in the gym, so I would always shut him down. And then
Okay, so this is like the same era.
yeah, I would always shut down this guy, and then me and gun guy broke up. And
How'd you break up?
that's irrelevant.
The gun went off. I want to break up.
And so, but then this guy kept hitting on me at the gym. So I finally was like, okay, whatever. Let's just like give it a go. Like I could use like a little like rebound hookup. You know what I mean? Like get into the vibes. And so finally like decided to hang out with him. We like go get like a smoothie or something one day. He's like pushing for us to hook up, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like not doing it. You know, I'm just like, okay, I'll just get a smoothie with you. Like just vibe, see what like the vibes are. And then I finally give him a chance one night, and I have him like come over like late, you know? I'm under the impression this man is gonna fuck me. That's like what I'm vibing. I clean out, I'm like ready to go, you know? He comes over, not much like small talk. We kind of like hop relatively like into it, but then he flips the script and he goes, I want you to top me. And he was so dead set on it. He pulled the switcheroo. I would not spend all the time prepping. He should have. And so I was under the impression that he had done this before and that he
Silly you for thinking that.
Silly me for thinking when a guy goes, I want this, and like, this is what I want, and is so like not nervous about it, that like, to think that he's had experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like your situation.
Yeah, last night.
Why would I not think that?
Yeah.
And so just to paint the picture of my bedroom at the time, it's a light gray fabric headboard, white sheets, white comforter, white blanket, and white pillowcases.
Lots of white.
Everything is white. I was going for that 2014 Beauty Guru all white bedroom vibe, you know?
Kim Kardashian's house.
Very that, except poor.
Yeah.
And so
Except pour in like a quarter of the size of her closet.
yeah. And so we're like getting into it. Everything's flowing really good. He's handsome. He's fit. He goes to the gym. Like very much. It was just like, it was vibing. I'm fucking him. He was like really like tight at first. So we had to like warm it up, whatever. And finally he just opens right up. Everything's going good. Going swimmingly.
right up.
He's going swimmingly. And then I get, you know what I mean? You just heard the song. I was like, oh. Uh-oh, poopy. So I was like, he goes, is everything okay? I go, no, I think we should rinse off. He goes, oh, okay. And so I think I don't know if we're missionary doggy, whatever. He gets up off the bed. My whole comforter, like, it's all over the comforter. He like goes to move it, like gets on his leg. It's like, it's spreading everywhere. It's like, it looked like a baby. Just like took a shit on my fucking bed. Everything's white. I'm like, oh my God, it's like late at night. This man just shit all over all my stuff. And like, I'm pissed. And so I'm like, let's get in the shower. He insists we shower together, which is even more mortifying. Like, just go rinse off. And
Admit
then like,
defeat.
Just admit defeat. So we were trying to shower together. Whatever. I'm like, whatever. At least I don't have to like stand around, you know? And so we're rinsing off, get out of the shower. He goes, so you ready to go back to it? I said, no, I think it's time. He goes, and he kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing for us to like hop back into it. I finally had to explain to him, just because you rinsed the outside doesn't mean the inside is okay. Like,
it's weird that you have to like explain that.
No,
too.
like he couldn't conceptualize the fact that like inside was still not okay. So like I would stick it in and it would just be the
did
same
you loofah,
thing.
like up in there? No, I don't think you did.
No, I was in the shower with them. And so I was like, I had to explain it to him and he was like, no, it's fine. Let's just like do something else. I was like, no, you need to leave. So then I finally get him out and I have to accept defeat and get trash bags and strip everything. It wasn't on the fitted sheet, but it was just like, it was all just tainted. And so I had to sit there with trash bags, bag everything up, put it in trash bags, and I slept on a bare mattress with a throw blanket. And then I had to go to the store the next day and buy all new bedding, comforter sheets.
They weren't
everything.
like salvageable.
It just like, even if they were, like I couldn't ever comfortably clean myself and do an everything shower and get into my sheets and comfort knowing that this random man from the gym shit on them.
Yeah.
Like it just, I would never feel clean in my bed again.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so I had to just, and so not only was it a bad experience and this man was relentless for months about getting together with me, I had to go spend several $100s on new fucking bedding when I was broke. And like, it was honestly horrendous.
That sounds
and he
pretty bad.
still kind of hit me up and I was like,
No, I was going to say, did
done.
you see him again at the gym?
Yes. And I just.
With runs in his shorts. Hey, babe, miss me?
Honestly, I should have sent him an invoice.
You should have. You be like, listen, you pay my invoice and you have to sign like a security deposit before you come over.
Literally, you can only come over if you come over with all new bedding.
Yeah. Or we're using your bed this time, babes.
And I'm gonna come not prepped, and we're gonna see how you like it.
I just ate Chipotle.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
It was just horrible. It was just horrible.
It's bad on both sides.
It is. It is. And honestly, like it's a human function, but it just is like one of those things, like it's preventable. I get that it can be like minimal and body has functions and like it is what it is.
You can clean and it just doesn't work.
Right. But it's like, it's one thing when like you blatantly didn't put in any effort and like you didn't warn me. Like I didn't co-sign where I was like, oh, that's fine. You didn't prep. Let's take the risk. Like I went into it blind.
Yeah.
And I was sideswiped. And
You
so
were.
were my sheets.
Your night was derailed.
It was
hardcore.
derailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just really, it was one of those posts. I didn't even come. It wasn't even a post not clarity. It was a blue balled clarity of me on a bare mattress with a throw blanket. Yeah.
Hey, you got new sheets now.
Well,
Several years ago.
several.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
Shit happens.
It does. It does.
It do. It
That's
do.
enough. That's enough of the.
Enough of the poop.
Yeah.
Let's go to one that sticks out to me. I was on Tinder during the pandemic again because I was running rampant through Tinder. It was the only
was
thing.
the reason COVID was getting spread.
It was like the only thing keeping me sane because I lived alone, and all my friends lived like you had to drive to like get wherever they were. So there was lots of lonely nights. So I filled them up with Tinder boys. And I was like freshly like transitioned. So I was like feeling my oats with these DL boys. And so this one guy comes over and I recognized him because he was actually really good friends with a guy I was friends with from university. And so I was like, oh, like I've seen this guy before. He comes to the house and I remembered him like looking like a little cuter, but he like took off his hat and it was like, you know, when like their eyes stop like halfway down their face and their forehead's like the other 50%. It was like that. So I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I can't really judge because I was like pre everything again. So I was like, neither of us are lookers here, but let's get this done. So he comes over and then, so we're like talking and he's like insisting. He's like, please don't tell anyone. Please don't tell anyone. Cause like I brought up the fact that I was like, oh, like I knew your friend. And he was like, oh. And then he like got kind of nervous. And then he was like, please don't like tell anyone. And I was like, okay, like relax. First of all.
Down.
And he was like, okay. And then he starts like, we start making out. All of a sudden, like, we're just making out, and it's not even, like, hardcore or anything. It's just, like, you know, kind of like the soft, like, little bit of tongue. He flips me over. We're on my couch. He flips me over, pulls down, like, I think I was wearing a skirt. He pulls off my skirt and then grabs me by my ankles, lifts me up into the air like a wheelbarrow. It starts going to town on my ass, like just like like eating me out like that. And I'm like doing a handstand on my couch. Like, what is happening? It went from 0 to 100 so fast. Wheelbarrow eating my ass for like 10 minutes too. And I was like, how am I doing a handstand for this long? It kind of felt good though. And I kind of liked how like spontaneous it was because I was not expecting that. And then he like finally like puts me down. And then he was like, do you want to like fuck now? And I was like, yeah, like, of course. So then we walk 2 steps to my bedroom and he puts on a condom. I'm like on my desk, like arched back, like ready for it. And I had like prepped, obviously, because I knew he was coming over. So I cleaned house because back in those days I would use the hose that like filled you up like a water balloon. So I knew I was ready to go. And I was like, yes. And like after the wheelbarrow thing, I was like, oh, this guy's going to give it to me.
Yeah.
He's going to give it to me on the desk. And I'm going to be a dirty, filthy mistress. And so I like arch back like that. He puts it in. He does 1 pump, 2 pumps. And he comes after 2 fucking pumps. And I was like, did you just come? And he was like, yeah. Like, that was so good. And I was like, was it? Because I spent like over 2 hours cleaning out for this.
You cleaned out up to the second
He literally
chamber.
pulls out, takes off the condom, pulls up his pants. He's like belting back up. And he was like, we need to do this again. And I was like, I don't think we do. Because that was awful. I just wasted so much time to only get wheelbarrow ass eaten. And then he left. And then I like check Snapchat. I'm like calling my friends and telling them what happened. I like called my best friend. I was like, this guy lasted 2 pumps. Like, that's it. And then he immediately, I checked Snapchat because I always go from Tinder to Snapchat. And then he immediately like blocked me. And I was like, why did you block me? You said, let's do this again. And you only lasted 2 seconds. I was going to block him though, to be fair. Because I was like, that was awful. But yeah, that was wheelbarrow guy.
Oh.
2 pumps, and I spent 2 hours in the shower douching.
No,
for that.
Insane.
Crazy.
No, that's
not
actually,
a fan.
No, that's horrible.
I think his name was like Trevor. I don't know. Something. Fuck you,
Something.
Trevor. Fuck you. Fuck you.
No, that's actually so insane.
Crazy.
Oh my God. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Mine are all like really insane.
Yeah. Tell me more.
No, this one's actually pretty short and sweet. It was the time that I thought I was getting chloroformed. No, so I think it was Grindr. And there was this guy, he lived about 45 minutes away. We had hooked up like once, in a hotel actually close by to me. It went like pretty okay. It was pretty normal. He was definitely like, it was actually a casino near me, and he was staying in the hotel. And we went there and we just like drank and we hung out, and it was like a fun vibe, and it was like a sweet, and it was just like a good moment. I was Brickarella, like early transition boots, like, you know what I mean? And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna hook up with him again. But he lived an hour away. So like this was when I lived in upstate New York, and sometimes you had to drive. You had to drive for the trade. And so I drove an hour to this man's home, and I got there. It was so weird. It was like, it was a nice house. Like it was an average home. And I go in. I thought we were going to go to like his bedroom, I assumed. But he had like a whole living room with like a couch and a TV, like very normal. And then just a mattress in the middle of the floor in the living room. So I was like, did he take his mattress off his bed and bring it down here? Like, it was weird because the rest of his house was normal. Like, it wasn't giving like crack den. You know what I mean? So it was just like bizarre that there was a mattress in the middle of the floor. And so whatever, we're like hooking up and it's like going good. I just remember it being like so dark. A dark and like a dimly lit TV and like not really any music. Like it was just giving like weird energy.
Yeah.
But like it was a normal house. So I didn't feel like unsafe. And like I had met him before and like we were in the living room. So I was like, I don't know. I just like didn't really feel unsafe, but it was just like weird vibes. And so we're like fucking, and then he like leans over to the side of the mattress, like near the floor. It's dark, and he picks up a towel and he just shoves it on my face. While he's like inside of me.
Like shoves it how? Like
No, like he's inside of me, fucking me missionary, and shoves the towel over my mouth and my nose. And so I'm like,
this is where I die.
In the moment, I'm like, oh my God, is this it? I was like, wait, this is it. And he just kind of kept fucking me. I panicked. I like shut down. Like I just didn't know what to do. And I was like, oh, I go out in Syracuse, New York on the mattress on the living room floor. I just kind of like accepted it in that moment, which is so depressing. And then he pulled the towel off and I was still alive and well. And so I was confused. I felt like lightheaded and I was like, oh my God, this is it. And then he finished. And then after I was like, hey, what was that? He actually just doused the towel in poppers, but didn't tell me that it was poppers.
But that's like still weird.
No, it was so weird. And then he like put it over my face and I was like, that's why I felt like a little lightheaded and crazy because it was poppers.
But
I thought
actually could have been like bad.
I thought it was not okay. I thought it was chloroform. No, that was actually like insane.
And did it work?
No, it did. And actually, I've used that tactic again after when I learned that because you don't have to twist open and close the bottle so it doesn't spill, and you would like
not tell guys to do that to them.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just a really like wild. We hooked up again, but like,
okay, Stockholm syndrome.
No, yeah, I don't know. That was crazy. I did tell him he should start telling people though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Good idea.
I also probably should have like fought him off, but I don't know. I just was
popper towel guy.
I just thought it would be less.
Did he try that move again the next time?
No, it was weird. That was the only time he ever did it.
The first time is like
no, it was the second.
Time you shouldn't do that.
It was the second.
Oh, that was the second. Oh.
So that's why I was like, well, I feel like if he was gonna kill me, he would have killed me the first time.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
maybe let him like feel me out.
That's crazy.
That was really the only time I've ever felt like a little unsafe.
No, that's scary boots.
No, crazy. But if that's not Grindr for you.
Funny in retrospect, no Grindr.
No, funny in retrospect for sure. But Grindr always is craziness.
So crazy.
Like I've hooked up with people at their jobs. This guy like worked at a storefront in a retail store in my town, and it was like a plant store. And I would go there, and he was the only one ever working, and no one was ever there because it was a plant store. And I would go there in the middle of the day, and he would lock the front door, and we would go into the back room, and we would fuck.
Oh, that's hot.
And then I would leave the store. No, it was so hot. We did that so many times. He was so hot too.
I only did that once.
Yeah.
When I went to actually go buy a new car. I went to Hyundai. How do you say it? Hyundai?
Yeah.
Went to a Hyundai dealer. And so I go in and I'm checking out cars and whatever. And initially this like one guy was like helping me with everything. But then another guy was like, I can like take over. And the other guy was like,
oh, you told me that.
The other guy was like, okay. So then he's like, I'm taking care of like the financing and loan or whatever you do with the car. So it's just him and I in the office. And so he's like getting through like all my stuff. And he was asking me like finance jobs or my finances and like what I do. And then I was like, oh, I do. I forgot what I told him because I didn't want to like say like OF because like you never know. And also with like loans and stuff, it can make it a little different. So I think I said like social media or something. And he was like, oh, you don't have to explain that to me. I know what you do. And I was like, oh. And he's like, yeah, I know you from Fat Life. Which, for those of you who don't know, Fat Life is
That's why
like,
he took over.
It's like a kinky, it's
Like
like a
social
kink
media.
website set up kind of like Facebook, and you use it to like find other people who are interested in the same stuff. And I use it to like promote my stuff. So my whole Fat Life is nudes and like me getting railed and whatever. So he knew me from there, and I was like, oh. I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, like I thought it was you when you came in. And I was like, oh, that's why I like took over my thing. And then he was honestly being like kind of like creepy and like really forward, but
That's
like
kinda hot.
I was kind of like turned on by it. He wasn't even that good looking, but he was just like, yeah, he's like, what if we just like fucked right here right now? And I was like, well, there's like windows everywhere. And he was like, it's okay, like no one can see. I can't like do anything about it now, but like you can come back later. And I was like, honestly, like kind of turned on by the idea. But he's like, honestly, I'm getting really hard right now. And he was like at his desk, and he was like, well, like people can see because the blinds were like kind of like halfway open. So he's like, just like use your foot. So I like literally like gave him a foot job under the desk. Because, like, no one could see under the desk from the outside.
Wait,
but he was, like, taking care. He would, like, ask me a question. He'd be like, okay, like, what's your, like, your home address? And then he'd be like, okay, then rub my dick. And then it would be, like, every other question. I was, like, stroking him with my foot. And then.
Wait, that's so hot.
I know. And then it finished. He's like, I get off at, like, 5 or something. So I was like, okay, because he, like, finished up my stuff. And he knew my address because, like, I just gave it to him. And he's like, can I come over after? And I was like, yeah. So right when he got off of work, he drove to my house. And then I filmed a video with him, with my roommate at the time.
Oh my God.
So and like we like filmed him like coming in. And then we just started sucking him off, and we like fucked him and everything.
That's so hot.
No, it was really hot.
No, I love that.
But then after that, he like was like relentless. So then I like stopped talking to him because he was being like too crazy. But I did want to like fuck in the office after hours, but
no, that's really
never
hot.
got around to it.
No,
but
that's really,
I gave him a foot job
really
like
hot when
on the job.
do that.
Foot job on the job.
Fucking in offices is like always a good time. I did to a doctor once in his office at a hospital. He was an ER doctor, and he used to message me on Grindr, and I would just drive over there and like go up to his little office.
So hot.
Did
Did he give you a prostate exam?
Yeah.
He's like, we're using this new special tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My fingers.
My fingies. Wait, was he hot? Like,
No, he
what
was
the
so
vibe?
hot. No, it was so hot, and I would have to. I drove an hour to Buffalo.
You
go.
were driving for
I
these
was
boys.
driving for these boys. No, and I used to go out at the park, and I would just go up to his office, and it was always empty up there. And he obviously had like a closed door office, and I would go up there, and I would be hooking up with him, and sometimes he'd have to like leave and put on his little coat and like go down and check on someone because it was like an emergency, and I would just be there.
BRB, someone's dying.
No, and I'd just be there bricked up in his office, like waiting for him to come back. And then we would fuck, and he was a middle-aged, like dad bod, like type guy, but like kind of fit at the same time. And he was so sweet. I was like 19. It was so hot. It was so hot. I saw him like several times. He was a sweetheart. He was.
Why'd you stop?
I don't know. Probably just because I stopped wanting to drive, and I like moved on to bigger and better things.
Wait, where was this again?
In upstate New York.
Upstate New York.
Yes. But okay, so we're out of time for today, but we literally could talk about this forever.
Cutting it short and sweet.
Yeah, it's about an hour.
Yeah.
But this is kind of wild. I feel like we could make this a series that we do because
we could do a little chronicle.
No, I think we could do a series because this is just touching the surface.
Unless you guys like fucking hate this, but I feel like you won't.
No, honestly, if anyone, I want to know in the comments below, let us know what one of your craziest stories is if you're comfortable sharing it, and keep it PG enough.
Keep it PG and legal-ish.
Yeah, keep it legal and PG for, the websites that this is posted on. But I'm curious to hear, because if you're watching this, you probably have some. And I'm just so curious. this is just touching the surface. We have several years of being
So
whores.
many. I
So-
was like ready to give my
No,
next
I was
one,
ready to
girl.
go- keep
I
going.
was like, I got my next one lined up.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So if you guys like this, we'll definitely make this like a several part series. We'll do
Mm-hmm.
it more. Because I think it's, and the thing is though, is it's kind of like never ending. And like I can think of something I did last week.
I mean, I literally added one to my list 12 hours ago.
I know. So it's just always
Keep
going.
fucking and keep
Sucking
having
and fucking.
sucking and fucking and getting more stories.
And also there's some
we
real, no, some of those were good ones too. Well, one of mine was.
We can talk about good ones.
We could talk about good ones too, like crazy ones. Like the doctor one was good. The retail guy was good. The gun one was good. So like I just feel like there was only one scary one and then one poopy.
Yeah. Too poopy.
Too poopy. Okay. Thank you
Okay,
guys
I'm
so
not
much
though.
for watching.
We gotta go poop.
Ew. Shut up, you fucking
Okay.
perv. Thank you guys so much for watching the Gag podcast. This wholesome, beautiful
Happy.
epi.
Oh God.
Okay, lots
Okay.
of love. Till next time.
Bye, guys.